Hi everyone, Christina Werner here for SimonsStamp.com. Welcome to another monthly card kit video. Today I'm going to be focusing on the stamp set in the card kit called Mandy's Flower Shed. This stamp set is available in the card kit or outside of the card kit. And I'm going to also be using some cardstock from Simon. This is the color Slate. I've cut it down so I can create my card base here. So it's 4 1/4 wide by 11 inches tall, and I've scored that at 5 1/2 to create a side folding card. Taking some post-it tape, I'm just going to mask off a border around the sides and bottom of the card. Now, right now, when I was working on this section of the card, I didn't think I would need that masking to go all the way to the edge, to the very top of the card, but in actuality, I did. So if you're going to recreate this card, you'll want to make sure that that masking tape goes all the way to the top. I didn't do that, and later on I had to fix it. So I prepped that space that I've left in the center with an anti-static powder tool since I'm going to do some heat embossing. And then I'm taking a couple of the images in the stamp set and I'm going to have the floral sections that are above this jar and above the pot, and I'm going to stamp that in that center area of my card. So I'm going to create a bottom border of floral images, and I will not have the jar and the pot showing. It's just another way to use these particular stamp images. So I stamped them in VersaMark ink and then sprinkled on some white embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. This is the color Alabaster. And after I put that on and tapped off the excess, I heat set that with a heat tool until it was smooth and melted. So after stamping that first image, I went on to the second image and did the exact same steps, making sure that the bottom section of the image was not going to stamp in the center area of the card. So all that I'm left with are the flowers. So this is going to look really cool with that masked off edge right at the bottom. So one of the sentiments in the stamp set that says thank you was perfect just to nestle in on top of those flowers. It just seems to puzzle piece right in there, and I couldn't resist stamping the greeting right there. I did the same exact steps by stamping it in VersaMark ink and then applying some alabaster embossing powder and heat setting that until it was smooth and melted. So now I'm going to take some white pigment ink from Simon and also a mini round blending tool, and I'm going to blend on some of this white pigment ink. This is going to help emphasize the shape that I've masked off on the center of the card. So as I peel off this masking tape, it almost looks like there are two separate pieces of cardstock making this card, but this is actually just a one-layer card. This is a great way to maximize your supplies. So I decided to take some faber-castel polychromos pencils and color in these floral images. Now, if you don't want to color, you don't have to. I think this card would be beautiful with just the white outlines of the flowers. I think it's a really sophisticated look, but I couldn't resist adding a little bit of color. So the method to my madness for coloring all these flowers is for each area that I wanted to add color to, with the exception of the leaves, I first added some white colored pencil. The white colored pencil is going to brighten up those areas and allow brighter colors to be on top. So first I laid down some white colored pencil, and then I went over it with some more vibrant colors, and this really makes those flowers glow and emphasizes those colors. So I used some pinks and purples, some yellows and oranges, and then I had one bright red flower. I thought that was really pretty. And I used a bright green for all of the leaves. To add a bit more detail around this area, I decided to take a white Jelly Roll pen. This is the number 10 bold pen, and I drew a line around that center area. I used my T-square ruler to help me get a straight line, and in those bottom corners where the border lines meet, I decided to extend them a little bit since one of them kind of overlapped too far. So in order to make it look intentional, I went ahead and just overlapped those corners. I then added some small little dots just to give this a little bit more whimsy and a little more detail. And then that finishes the card for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card inspiration using the stamp set from the August 2018 card kit from simonstamp.com. Once again, the stamp set is available on its own or in the card kit. And thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in another video very soon.